G'day guys, welcome back to another vid. This video is going to be based on my gear. Tomorrow I'm leaving for a trip down to the Jane River, so I've got everything packed for a 6 to 7 day trip, and I thought it's probably a good time for me to do another one of these videos where I go through everything that I pack and some of the thoughts that kind of go into my head along with that. So first of all, I should probably just start with the clothing that I'm going to be wearing, because that plays a pretty big part in what you need to pack. I found a similar hat, wasn't the same model as the one I lost, but I just stitched that up yesterday, so that's going to be keeping the branches out of my face. I've got some freshly worn in, they're like lightweight boots, which are kind of waterproof. Well, they say they're waterproof, but they're good. You can get water in them. If you step in puddles, they kind of squeeze out, and that's what I kind of look for in a boot, a fast drying boot. Something that's not too heavy and something that works on all types of terrain. So whether or not you're scrambling up rocks or you're going through mud, these seem to be pretty good for me. These are merino wool socks. These are the type of socks I use. They dry pretty fast and they keep moisture out. They also don't stink much once they get sweaty. Scrub gloves, you just get these from anywhere, but I like to get them just for off-track trips. Your hands get pretty cut up if you don't have scrub gloves, and generally one pair of these will last for about a week, depending on how hard you go. Gaiters, these are really good for the scrub as well, also help protect from snake bites. I've never had a snake bite, but I'm pretty sure that if you did get bitten by one, these have a pretty good chance of stopping you from getting any poison into your body. This is just a waterproof jacket. I got this one from Globe. I got a mate who gave me a discount code for them. This has been really good. It's just like any other one you'd get from Kathmandu. They're waterproof to a certain degree, but if you're brushing up against saturated scrub all day, you're inevitably going to get wet. But it's light and it's fast drying. It's the same goes with the pants. These are soft shell pants, water resistant, and basically the reason that I like these is they're light, they dry quick, and yeah, they're warm as well. Merino wool comes back into it with the thermal. I like to keep this underneath my waterproof jacket. And once again, with the merino wool, it helps push the moisture out but keeps you nice and warm. And I find that whether or not I'm walking in 10 or 20 degree weather, merino wool's pretty good. You can take the waterproof jacket off, just have the merino wool on. And also, they're not too bad for scrub. They will tear up, but generally it doesn't really matter if you kind of leave this on and you're going off track. It's pretty tough stuff. So yeah, that is what I wear, and that's what I'll wear every single day while I'm down there. Now I do have some spare clothes that I'll go through with you in a minute, but that's the core clothes for the trip. Alright, now we can get on to packing the bag. This is a 80 litre pack. It's just a kind of cheap one, I guess, from Anaconda. The first thing that I put in to the bag when I pack it is my sleeping bag. So this sleeping bag that I have inside this dry bag is a -10 sleeping bag, which for most trips outside of like summer months, -10 is fine. It'll just depend if it's cold, say up in the snow, I might have thermals on in it. If it's in spring or autumn, I'm probably not going to wear thermals, and you can just wear undies and you'll be super cozy in that. That goes down the bottom. Then I've got just a little half body mat sleeping bag. You undo the nozzle here, pumps up with air, and it's like a little bit better than just sleeping on the ground. Alright, then this is my tent. I've got a 2-man nature hike cloud ×2. So it's like I think it's a 3 or 4 season tent. It's pretty good for the money. I think it was only maybe not even $200. So that goes in there. And then I've got my dry bag. So this is where I've got my spare clothes. So for the 6-day trip, everything that I'll be packing is this. I've got spare soft shell pants to wear at camp. I've got a spare pair of undies, spare t-shirt, I've got a spare thermal, a beanie, thermal pants, spare pair of socks, and just a fleece. Actually, I kind of went a bit luxury. I've got 2 spare pairs of socks. Must have been feeling a bit generous when I packed this. So that goes into my bag the exact same way that the tent does, which is long ways. And by now, I'm starting to get some sort of structure with the way everything's packed. Next thing I'll put in is my cooker, which is just a Minimo from Jetboil. Goes straight down the middle. And I've got 2 spare canisters for that. I find that one of these will generally last 3 days, but I don't really want to run out. I have taken 2 before and got very close to running out, so I'm packing an extra just to be on the safe side. I'm starting to get like a couple of little gaps in my bag, and this is where I like to start feeding in the dehydrated food. So I'll just put them in, wiggle them in any little gap that I can see down into the bag. After this trip, I'm actually taking 10 of these double meals, which is quite a lot, but we're not sure if we're going to be down for 6, 7, but I've got 8 days worth of food. So these basically just fill in the little triangle that I've got at the front, supported by the 2 pillars being the dry clothes and the tent. A couple bags of shapes go in there as well. Now you can see I've pretty well got like a nice little flat area, and this is where I start stacking in things that I might need before we set up camp. So in this circumstance, I've got a couple of packs of noodles, so lunch, and I've also got another dry bag. So in this one, this didn't really need to go near the top, but it's kind of handy. I've got a strap for a new camera device that I'll be using down there called a Wirel. And then just a couple of trail cams that I'll be setting up around the camp at night, and I'll probably even leave these down there when I'm done, and a spare battery bank. So this is a 27,000 battery bank. It's got a MagSafe charger on it as well, in case the phone gets wet, the charging port gets wet, you can still charge your phone. Normally I don't take too much power. For every 3 days I generally take one 15,000 milliamp hour battery, and that seems to do pretty good. There has been times when I've had to use my drone batteries as a backup. So that's another nice flat level. The wire that I'm taking down, which is kind of like a wire cam essentially, is going to be sliding in here. Then I've got a couple of other bits and pieces. This here is just a tripod for a phone. Big bag of Skittles. The wire. And then to finish this off, I've got a block of chocolate, 1 more bag of shapes, 4 more meals, and that's that. It's everything I need for 6 days, minus the toiletry bag and the camera bag. So I'll go through what I've got for the toiletry bag. I like to have this on top so everything's quite easy to access. As you can tell with this bag, there's only 1 unit and it's just 1 big tube of storage. So I like to pack things so that I can get what I need, if I need it, easily. This toiletries bag, so in here we're going to be doing a couple of pretty big ridge hikes, which will take up pretty much all day some days, and they don't have any water on them. So I've got a 3 litre bladder here. I don't normally carry one of these unless I know from planning that I'll probably need it, and this time I do. I've got a bog roll, first aid kit. For breakfast I just eat like these instant oats, a couple packs of them, and a muesli bar or something. Seems to work out alright. I've got a sewing kit where it's just some cotton and there's also a needle in there. I've got maybe 10 or 12 packs of coffee, just the black stuff in tea bags. A toothbrush, about 6 packs of instant hot choc. I've got a snake bite kit, so just a couple of compression straps and a sling. Protein bars, tape, a spare headband, insect repellent plus sunscreen. For this trip, because we're heading down the Jane, I've got like a couple of bags of plaster of Paris in case we see any footprints. Then I can get some of them. I'd rather have that on me than not. I've got a lighter in a little sandwich bag, tiny toothpaste, and a headlamp, and this stuff here which is called rock tape. It's kind of cool. You put it on your knees or wherever's sore, and it lifts like the skin from the muscle and helps kind of flush any crap and fluid that's building up in it. Yeah, so that's my toiletry bag. That's everything I've got for that, and that fits into the top of my bag pretty neatly. I'll just pack that up, and then I'll get on to the camera stuff, and that's pretty much going to be it. Super keen to get down there, hey. Gonna have about a week, I think, to explore down there before we have to start heading out. We've got some pretty awesome stuff planned. Can't wait to share it with you guys. So that just goes in here. Now this bag has pretty weak zippers. They're really smooth, and I don't like that. I'd rather they were a little bit more stiff. I have thought about doing like maybe putting a bit of put a sticker or something on one end of the zip and letting some of the adhesive just stick to it, but for the meantime I just thread one of those through the other, so if one moves, so does the other. Alright, that can now be clipped up. I also take a spare carabiner clip, which is how I attach my camera bag. So you got these 2 clips here and the carabiner clips for the camera bag. So in my camera bag I've got, on the back I like to take a pair of scissors, nice and flat. The side I've got just like a little, it's like a little cheap compass, whistle, temperature gauge. I think there's a magnifying glass or something on there too, so yeah, it's cheap and light. In the front, which is where I keep my phone generally, where does I sit that? Here. So I've just upgraded to the iPhone 13 Pro. One of the biggest issues that I had shooting a lot of videos on iPhones is that they're really no good in low light, and also when it comes to editing the video that you get, they're quite small compact clips and there wasn't a lot of information to kind of bring out the best in the footage. That's been a huge upgrade in the 13 Pro, so I've upgraded to that, and that slots right in there in front of my bag. Always when I'm walking after losing a phone, I'm always checking it's there. Every time I pull it out, go to get a shot, I put it in, zip it across. It's a good safe spot. Actually, a lot of the way that this camera bag works is really good and really safe, and it's been huge for me to be able to fit everything that I like into this small camera bag. This is a Nova 160 all-weather from Low Pro. Inside the bag I've got a compartment for my drone, which I won't be using in the national park. I've got room for two 15,000 battery banks, my two double charger for the GoPro batteries, and then I've got two more batteries for the drone. These also act as backup battery banks, because in front I've got this little contraption here which just simply clicks onto the battery, and you've got your USB ports there. In the front is where I also store the cords for everything. So I've got one cord for the iPhone, I've got one cord for the GoPro, and then I've got one, I think it's just called like a USB, one of the small USB ones, which basically goes into the power bank. That's it for the front, and then I've just got the remote in here as well. So it's nice and compact. The way everything slots in here is good. I can have cords running from the inside here, plug USB, have the cord running on the outside, charging my phone while I'm walking, so that's really handy. That's pretty much it. That's everything I use. Oh, and then I've got these two things here, which is my satellite phone, which clips onto the front. I've got my GoPro, which with the new handle that they've made, I used to just run it through the little chest strap, but with the new handle it's quite smooth, and I don't trust it. I just feel like it's going to fall out. It's happened to me even with the last ones that had a knob on them, so it won't take long before I lose this. So I've just put this carabiner clip with a shoelace, and I just clip that right on there. It's a bit annoying because every time you want to film something you have to unclip it, but it's also reassuring that every time you finish filming something you reclip it and it's not going anywhere. That's it. I might give you guys a weight on this bag. I've got to go into work to print something off, so I'll see you there. Alright, just weighing it up, and these scales only go to 15, so I'm taking stuff out. Bloody chocolate. Yeah, it was the chocolate. Alright, so I've got 15 there and 2.8. So 17.8 kilos plus a 600ml bottle is 18.4 kilos total. And then I've got the camera bag too, which I don't know the weight of, but it's a couple of kilos, give or take. So about 20 kilos all up. Should be good. It's probably one of the heavier loads I've taken. I remember the first Jane trip, my bags were 15 kilos with a pack raft and paddles. So I don't know where that extra weight's come in. Must be all the new safety items that I have on there. Alright, wish us luck guys. Hopefully this helped you, and if it did, leave me a like or whatever. And yeah, can't wait to share what we have planned. Peace.